Hey guys, we're back, and today we're talking about Matthew's rarest and most valuable vinyl records.
I have a huge collection, which is not good for my wallet, but it is good for my happiness.
And the soul.
And the soul. And, you know, I try to listen to at least a record every single day, usually more if I have time. But a huge aspect of records for me is, you know, collecting them. And I think it's really cool that, you know, sometimes the value is brought up artificially, which can be annoying, but when records go out of print and they're really good records and there's, you know, a scarcity of them,
and you have one.
It's cool to have it. It's just a really cool feeling knowing that you have that record in your collection. So the first album I'm going to talk about is a band called May and their album The Everglow. This is one of my favorite. It's kind of, I guess, emo rock, but it's also pop rock. It's a really beautiful album. The melodies are super catchy, and his voice is just so nice. I actually got to see him play this album in full for the anniversary tour. Damn it, Sandy! This was put out on Tooth and Nail Records, which is the only album of theirs that was pressed on that label, and is another reason why it's out of print.
Why, if they're worth so much, why don't the bands just make more?
It's a complicated answer. Some bands, I feel like, kind of enjoy the idea of some of their records being rare, which is a small aspect, but another aspect is vinyl is in such huge demand right now that all the pressing plants are really backed up, and every artist wants to get their releases out, but there's not that many plants around anymore because vinyl died for so long that they weren't maintained and they weren't growing. So the few plants that exist, it's really difficult to get your order through. So
if you're smart, you'll start a vinyl plant?
Pretty much. Also, there's licensing issues. You know, not every band necessarily, you know, like Tooth and Nail probably has the rights to this album, and they're not able to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of red tape to go through. It has a really nice gatefold. You can pop it open, and it has some pictures in it that goes along with the throughout the album. They tell you to look at the pictures and
a little comic book.
Yeah, it relates to the themes and the songs, which is really neat. It's just on black vinyl.
It's so cute.
Yeah, there were 1,000 copies. It came out for Record Store Day 2012, and it has not been repressed since.
This one's my favorite.
This album tends to go roughly for $100 to $150. I acquired it by buying it from someone on a record forum for, I think I spent $50, which is a pretty killer deal compared to what you can find it for, if you could even find it for sale, so
cool.
No regrets. My next album is one that's very special to me because it's my favorite band,
The National.
The National.
Sorry, I was asking you.
It's a little band called The National, and this is their first album. It's their self-titled. Is it my favorite of theirs? No. Do I think they have a bad album? Also, no. This album has a little bit of an alt-country kind of feel to it compared to their other stuff. Great lyrics. Every song is fun and nice and easy to listen to. They released 500 copies in 2010 on their web store on blue vinyl.
What?
Matches the cover really nicely. And I did not get it in 2010 because I wasn't collecting records back then. But I got lucky because I found someone who was willing to trade it. He went through my trade list of the records I owned, and he picked out 2 records that were worth maybe $20-25 each, and he was like, I'll trade you this for those. At that point, it wasn't quite as rare as it is now, but I said yeah in a heartbeat because those records I wasn't super fond of, and he traded me. Now this goes for $150 to $175 if you can even find it.
That's crazy.
I haven't seen one for sale in a very long time, so I'm really happy to own it. You know, it's a nice collector's piece, especially since it's my favorite band.
Okay. Next up, we got our boy!
Action Bronson. Now, he doesn't have a ton of vinyl releases. He has, you know, Sob Stories, Well Done. Those are both on vinyl, but besides that, his stuff is really hard to find. I'm lucky enough to own the chopped herring pressing of his mixtape Blue Chips, which I think is arguably his best album.
Yes.
Really,
it's the most colorful.
Yeah, really fun, upbeat hip-hop, a lot of really cool samples and unique stuff that he raps about food a lot, which obviously we love. In 2013, Chopped Herring pressed this in a couple different variants, and this is the most limited variant. This might be the most limited record I own for a single pressing. This is on yellow, with a couple white wisps in there.
That's so cool!
Highlighter yellow. There's only 75 copies of this one.
So
which
little.
is crazy. In the past, Blue Chips, this album has sold for $150, $175 maybe if you could find it. Right now, if you want to get it online, the only copies I see available are asking $350.
That's It's crazy.
Lucky to have this. The way I got it was actually really cool. A guy on a forum I go to had it and was willing to trade it, and he went through my trade list and picked out, I think, 7 records of mine for this one. But all the records he picked were pretty, like, common records, $15 to $20 records. Really happy to own this. Love Bronson, so this is a really cool collector's piece.
We love you so much. You're our favorite.
So this next one is one that I couldn't believe I found. I found it in the wild. Basically, it's a cover album of King Crimson's first album, In the Court of the Crimson King, done by Flaming Lips and a bunch of their related bands. Linear Downfall, Space Face, Star Death and the White Dwarves, New Fumes, they were all involved and all had their own track. There were only 500 copies, and it was back in 2012. They had it on tour with them at their shows, and that was about it. They sent a couple out for Black Friday Record Store Day that year, but not very many. The cover is this crazy, psychedelic art of the iconic face of the original King Crimson album. The record itself is hand-poured, so every record looks slightly different. This is like a really cool, interesting psychedelic medley.
Dude, that's so pretty.
I've been looking for this since I started collecting records, and I didn't want to listen to the album until I found it on vinyl. I was being really stubborn about it. So every time I would go to a record store, I'd go to the Flaming Lips section, look through it, never see it, obviously. And every time I saw it online, it was a crazy price. So I'm at Amoeba with her one day, and we're looking around. It's late at night, and
we weren't even gonna go.
We weren't even gonna go. We just kind of decided to go on a whim. I go through my run to the store, and I go to the Flaming Lips section, and I flip through, and I'm flipping through, and all of a sudden I stop, and I flip back, and I look up, and it's this record, and it says $30, and I'm like, no. I'm like, my heart, I think it literally skipped a beat. I was like, no, that's impossible. And I look at it, and I make sure there's like not a chunk taken out of it or something ridiculous. Looks like it's in perfectly good condition. I found her, I was like, we have to leave right now. I ran, and I got home, and I played it, and it was awesome. It's a really cool version of the album. It's a little trippier than the original album. It still has that proggy kind of sound to it, but it definitely has a little more psychedelic aspect than the original.
It's really cool.
But this is like a $200 and $250 album.
Wow. I can't believe it was so cheap.
I couldn't believe it either. That's the beauty of Amoeba. Sometimes stuff there is really underpriced because there's so many people pricing. So always nice to go there and discover something really cool like this. The last one is a soundtrack that is very sought after in the vinyl community.
It's so cool.
It's an original soundtrack by Daft Punk, and it's for the movie Tron Legacy by Disney. Now, this is an interesting one because it's not that limited. It's a numbered copy. There's 9,072 copies of this in circulation right now, which seems like a ton, right?
Yeah.
Never underestimate Daft Punk fans and Disney fans, especially when they come together.
That's
this
true.
sold out almost instantly when it came out. It's really
So there's none?
There's none available right now for sale, brand new from a store or anything.
What?
The cover's actually cool because it has glow-in-the-dark letters if you check it out at night. I haven't opened this yet, not because I plan on selling it, just because I plan on opening it when the time is right. It's not yet.
What do you mean?
I haven't wanted to listen to it yet. I want to keep it sealed till then.
Oh my gosh.
And the way I got it was maybe 6-8 months ago. I go to this vinyl forum that I reference, and someone made a topic saying the Disney store restocked a couple copies. They must have found a box of them that they hadn't sold or something.
No.
I bought it for $45, and it sold out in like an hour or two. Again, and it hasn't been for sale since. This is a $250 to $300 record. Probably the rarest record in my whole collection. Probably part of the reason why I can't bring myself to open it yet. But this is a great soundtrack. I mean, Daft Punk is so good. And
Did they score the whole movie?
yeah.
So this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. They're geniuses.
Yes, they are.
There you have it, guys. Matt's most valuable vinyl. So if you know where he lives, you can go and steal all his stuff and be rich. Just kidding.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sandy.
This is Damn It, Sandy.